Let me tell you about one thing where you might get upset. Bugatti Veyron came in as a non-runner, and the customer was quoted about £24,000. The cars nowadays are designed from engineers where they get told that the cars have to break down in 10,000 miles.
Do supercars really need to be serviced at main dealer?
Customers are more concerned on how much they spend on their services. I've grown up with older mechanics. So what they will always do is they won't replace parts. They will always repair parts.
Those who say that supercars are unreliable and constantly break down, are they right or they're wrong?
It depends on what supercar.
Cars that were once expensive that are now cheap, are they worth buying?
If you're a guy that takes cars to main dealers only, obviously don't buy it because they're gonna get charged an arm and a leg for anything that goes wrong. If I don't find a solution on a car, I can't sleep.
Right, so... So Bruce, what cars do we have in the service centre right now?
Well, at the moment we've got so many cars. You're talking about the cars in the workshop or literally at the back of the yard?
Workshop, yeah.
In the workshop, we've got a Testarossa, we've got a Hurricane, we've got an RSQ8, we've got a Aventador SV, we have got a Urus in there as well,
Okay.
and a DB9.
So RSQ8, people normally think that we only deal in supercars, but we can work on all sorts of cars, and we do get a lot of Audis coming in, right?
That's right, loads of them. I mean, this season we're getting loads of RS6s and RSQ8.
RSQ8, tell me what's wrong with this one?
Well, right now, there's a common problem going around, everyone knows about it right now, which is the 48-volt battery and the alternator failing. It's not only an alternator, it works as a starter motor as well. So it starts the engine and charges the battery, the 12-volt battery and the 48-volt battery. And the way they've designed the alternator is failing. It's getting water damage, or it's getting very hot, and the circuit board's getting cooked. And then
So what happens to the customer when he's driving this car? What does he see?
So now, okay, so you see if a customer's driving an RSQ8, no problems, smooth drive and everything, and all of a sudden he'll get all the lights flashing like a Christmas light, right? And then the battery sound will come on, and alternator sound will come on, and eventually it would shut down. Everything will get shut down, broken down, and then he will have to get it recovered. And once it gets recovered, you can't even plug in like a snap-on machine, anything like that. You have to have the dealer machine, which is Audi, plug it in and do a diagnosis on there, and then figure out eventually it's the alternator. And the alternator.
How long did it take to find this one was an alternator?
We know it inside out. The first time it took us about 45 minutes. Now we diagnose it within 10 to 15 minutes because we know it better. And the thing is, the parts, no one has them in stock now. You have to order it from Germany.
Why don't they have them in stock down here?
Because it's such an expensive part. The battery alone is about £1,500.
On an Audi?
On an Audi, yeah.
I'm used to that on McLarens.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of an Audi. I suppose R8 must be that kind of money.
Yeah, similar money. But obviously the R8s don't have a 48-volt battery, right? Because this is a 48-volt massive battery, they just, price range is nuts, crazy. And not only that, so what happens is when the alternator dies, right, the engine, the electrics and everything starts sucking the voltage out the battery, the 48-volt battery. And as soon as it goes to dead, you can't charge them back up sometimes. And if you can't, then obviously it costs about £1,500 plus that. And then the alternator is around about £2,000. So if anyone that has these cars and the warranty is running out, they're screwed.
You don't really worry too much about warranties on cars like this because you think that they're quite bulletproof.
Yeah.
But you think that people, even that have RSQ8s, should probably go for extended warranties.
100%. I mean, I don't know what it is. Like I always say, the cars nowadays are designed from engineers where they get told that the cars have to break down in 10,000 miles, 15,000 miles.
Well, this is the problem that it came to light only, I think, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, about iPhones.
Yeah.
And that batteries were designed to fail.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Because the iPhone was such a good product that you could probably end up using that phone for the next 5-6 years. But then how are they going to make more money?
Yeah. Exactly.
if you're not buying any of their new phones.
Of course.
So they had to program batteries to fail
Yeah.
after a certain amount of recharges, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So it's probably the same thing here.
Yeah,
The better and better the cars are getting,
the more and more they will fail and break down. I mean, I've still got a little brick Nokia phone which you plug into a charger and it starts up and then it works perfectly fine.
is that for the ladies?
Well, Mrs. might be watching.
Joking, I was joking.
No, you just keep it for memory, right?
Yeah.
I like stuff, my sentimental stuff, so I keep the older stuff. So even my older cars, like I don't have no issues. There's no issues.
Yeah.
Like when do I ever get calls like my classic car's got that fault? I mean, obviously they get rusted and stuff. They hardly go wrong unless the carburetor is flooded or stuff like that. But the engines hardly go wrong. Never get phone calls. It's only the main phone calls I get is newer cars, electrical problem, engines knocking, gearboxes slipping, gearboxes jumping, all sorts of crazy madness.
So the Urus is based off the same chassis as an Audi
RSQ8.
Q8 as
RSQ8,
well, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Do you see the same faults happening on the Urus as you do on the RSQ8?
Right, let me tell you that one. So I haven't had one Urus fail on the battery.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like
So
they're
what's the difference between-
different. They've got tiny better, smaller battery, right? It's the bigger battery that's failing, right? And
So the Urus doesn't have the bigger battery?
no, they don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. In that case, I haven't seen any Uruses failing with those sort of problems. I mean, battery issues.
Typically, does the Urus have the same kind of problems as an RSQ8?
Usually, yes, cooling issues, cooling and gearbox issues. Yes, very similar as the RSQ8.
What's the Urus in for at the moment?
The Urus is in for cooling issues. So one of the coolant pumps has failed and the car was overheating. Now we've diagnosed it and replaced the coolant pump, and we're in the procedure of bleeding the system down with the diagnosis machine. I mean, you can't even bleed cars. I mean, coolant system back in them days, we can just open the cap, turn the heating on, wait till the fan comes on, it's bled, close the cap, it's done. Anyone can do it at their house. Nowadays, with the newer cars, you have to have a diagnostic machine to bleed the system.
Why?
Because they've got so many motors, electronic motors and stuff like that, and thermostats are electronic. You have to plug a machine in and open everything via machine, diagnostic machine, and then bleed the system down.
So you open the valves by a machine?
By a machine, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, everything is computerized nowadays.
But is that because they want you to come back to the service center
standard
to do it?
Yeah. I mean, this is where customers are getting quoted stupid amount of money, right? Like crazy. Like certain procedures where you can do it within, like if there's a little hole there, like this on the side of the engine or on the wheel arch, you can work through the hole. But what they will do is, instead of working through that little gap, they would say, we'll have to remove the wing, we'll have to remove the bumper, the whole front end needs to come off, and whatever that comes off, it has a seal, everything needs to be replaced to get to that point. And then we find other ways to do it and suss the problems.
But otherwise, the prescribed way by Lamborghini would be, you have to take the bumper off, you have to take the wheel arch off, you have to take this, that, and the other off. And so actually to take that off, plus putting it all back together again after the work is done, it's probably another, say, about 6 hours of labor or something like that, 5 hours.
More than that, 10, 15 hours, yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a full strip down.
With the coolant issue on the Urus, how would a Urus owner know that they're having a coolant problem? Would it just come up on their dashboard?
Yeah, so the car will overheat.
Yeah.
Or they will get a candy smell come inside the car.
A candy?
Sugary candy smell.
No way.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are so in their own world that when they're driving, they don't look at their dashboard, and they'll probably think of a million other things than look at their dashboard.
Yeah.
So then that's quite an interesting one. So they look
smell.
out for different types of
Different
smells.
types of smells.
Because you can smell like a rubber. Like, let's say, for example, you might have a slow puncture.
Yeah. Burning rubber.
And burning rubber.
Yeah.
Like when you come out of your car and then you're like, I swear I smell burning rubber. So now you better start looking at your tires and see if there's a nail in your tire or something, right?
Yeah.
So
the cords have been burned.
What other smells should you be looking for?
So engine oil, like oil burning, like how can I describe an oil burning? Slightly like a tarmac.
Okay,
so
that's a disgusting smell.
Yeah,
right?
disgusting smell. Yeah, you will smell it inside. And eventually get dizzy as well.
No way.
Engine oil burning.
Well, like good dizzy or bad dizzy?
Or bad dizzy. not the mushroom dizzy.
But you know the burning oil smell. What would that imply? What's happening with the car then?
So it either has an oil leak, and the leak is dripping onto the exhaust manifold, and it's burning off it. And when you have your climate control on, fans, it's just pushing all that fumes inside the car.
Unless it'd be dangerous.
Of course, yes. Unless you've got the recirculation button switched on for the climate control, so it ventilates the air inside. I mean, really and truly, when you're sitting in traffic, you should be turning on your ventilation circulation button anyway, so you don't get the exhaust fumes coming into your car.
I've always thought that. So it's sucking in the air.
Yeah.
And when you are saying the worst thing ever, right, that I find is when you're driving and you've got like one of those vans,
smoking
transit
vans,
and the bloody filters all messed up.
Yeah.
And you can see all the smoke coming out. I'm like, oh my god, I can't breathe, right? Because it's sucking in that air.
Literally,
as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's got the pollen filter, but you can only do much.
Yeah. So then, what you're saying, you have to do the
press the recirculation button, so it stops the flow from the outside. It circulates the flow for inside the car.
Inside. Yeah. I never knew that. Any other smells?
Well, fuel smells. You know what fuel smells like. Everyone knows what fuel smells like.
I love the smell of fuel.
Yeah, that's it. It's very addictive. So
catch me at the petrol station, just smelling fuel.
That's it.
But what's so bad about that?
So if there's a fuel smell,
never messed me up. Say that.
This guy's a drug. So basically, if you smell fuel, you obviously have a leak. So either your injectors are leaking externally or internally, or the car is over fueling and you've got unburnt fuel coming out the exhaust, or the actual fuel is leaking from the tank, or the tank feed to the engine. There's a leak there somewhere. So obviously, when you do smell that, you have to stop the car and get it checked out, because otherwise the car can catch fire.
It can catch fire.
Yeah.
Have you seen that happen before?
Yes, of course. You see all these videos on YouTube and TikTok and stuff.
See,
where Lamborghini Huracans and R8s and R8s, Aventadors are catching fire because they leak fuel.
I've seen Aventador. Sometimes you get your guys that want to rev the hell out of it, and then suddenly the back end catches fire, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying, I do remember one time a Huracan when we were on the way to Goodwood or something like that, and there was a Huracan parked up on the side,
right?
Because literally the back end fully caught on fire.
You see, there's another thing, right? Where I've worked on cars that had caught fire, the back end caught fire, and then obviously where I'm investigating, trying to find out how the car had caught fire, you would see where someone has tampered with the engine. Some, I don't know, mechanic or whatnot, tampered with the engine and
modify it to
modify it or not put back things properly. Or retighten stuff, talk.
And that allowed fuel to
seep out. Fuel and seep out, and
then that catches fire.
Yeah.
That's scary, huh? All right, the prime example of this is this guy called John Hunt, who was the founder of Foxton's estate agency, one of the largest in the country. And his son had a Mura SV,
right,
serviced in London,
right,
at Lamborghini. He goes to pick it up, and as he's driving towards the A40, it catches on fire.
Wow.
And he jumps out in time. I think they managed to salvage the car.
Okay.
But it was worth, say, about £1 million at that time, and they worked it out that it was due to the wrong spark plugs being fitted. So that's the reason why the fire started on the car. And
unburnt fuel.
What is that?
Probably unburnt fuel going to the exhaust, and the exhaust got really hot, and then something that was surrounding the exhaust got really hot and caught fire.
That's why it would have been.
That's what would have happened. Yeah.
The guy sued the garage for £700,000. So the car was worth $1 million. He probably still salvaged the car, so it probably wasn't totally done.
Right.
And then he managed to get $700,000 back as well. But to be honest with you, he's lucky to be alive.
He's lucky to be alive, of course.
Okay, you've had so many jobs in lately. you must have had some jobs where you've saved customers so much money. Tell me about some of them.
Well, let me tell you about one thing where you might get upset, but let me just talk about it. Bugatti Veyron came in as a non-runner, and the customer was quoted about £24,000 for a new fuel pump.
Yeah. So is that a common problem with Bugatti?
That is a common problem. It's because they sit around. So they have fuel sitting in the tank, and they sit around for ages, nothing's getting circulated, and everything just in the tank melts. So, you know, I don't know how they quoted this customer £24,000 for a new fuel pump, and obviously the labour was high as well because you have to split them in half and everything.
Explain that to the viewers. So split what in half?
Split the engine and the chassis in half to get the tank out.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So then
that must be a nightmare. How many man hours is that then?
Oh, that's about touching more than 40 hours.
Bloody hell! Yeah, so the fuel pump might go. Replace it is in the actual just getting access to it.
Access to it and everything. Yeah, that's right.
Nuts.
Well, we found a solution where. Well, let me talk about the parts first. I found a way to work around the tank without stripping the whole thing apart. Right. The pump itself, I rebuilt the pump. Pump was working perfectly fine, and then the pipe work was.
1 second. Don't skip past it. So you've rebuilt the pump itself.
Yeah.
So how do you rebuild a pump?
Well, you take it apart and then whatever that's gone, replace it and change it.
What went wrong with that? And then how did you rebuild it?
Right. So what happens is, right, there's two pumps in the tank, which is constantly pumping fuel into the engine when you start the engine. Now, if the tank gets empty or there's a breakage in between where the pipework is and the pump's not sending fuel to the other side and the pump's just running dry, what happens? There's no lube to the pump. And then the pump burns out. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So if it burns out, then it just fries inside. So you have to change the impeller and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I took it out, replaced all of that, and the pipework replaced all the pipework and stuff. They were really special ones as well. And I found some other companies where they have upgraded pipes, which they will never go wrong, right? They've got lifetime warranty.
You found another company that had upgraded pipes, but are those kind of like generic? So you can use them on Bugatti, but you can use them on
any car. They use them on kit cars, like souped up cars, which is 1,000 brake horsepower and stuff like that.
Okay.
So now, guess how much it cost us?
I'm guessing you're going to say something silly like 500 quid.
150 quid.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Because I know what you're about to say next as well. We done it as a favour.
Yeah, we done it as a favour, and literally cost us 150 quid and a few hours labour. The car was running perfectly fine afterwards.
Wow.
The customer was like, what the hell? I said, this is what it is. You come to GVE and we find a solution to fix the problem. And that was one of them. Do you want to hear more?
Yeah, of course.
The second one, well, there's so many. We have different stuff going on every day. So the second one I can bring up is the Testarossa. The release bearing was leaking. The customer was quoted for a new sleeve and a release bearing, which is around about £2,000. So I thought, let me just remove it, check it first. Removed it. I took the release bearing apart. I had 2 seals in it, which was 50 quid from HRO in. Replaced the seals, put everything back on. Everything's fixed now. From £2,000, 50 quid. I mean, satisfaction, right? Customers over the moon. He came down today and he was like, wow, he saved me a lot of money.
So this segment is myth busting. Yeah. And I'll start off with, do supercars really need to be serviced at main dealer? Or can a specialist that's a really good specialist do just as good a job?
It's a good question. Where you see with main dealer, if your car has a warranty with them still, right? You can let them deal with it. At the same time, we can do warranty work here. As in, if you use genuine parts, genuine parts it's all recorded under the VIN number and registration. It's still covered under warranty. The car's still covered under warranty. You can still claim everything under warranty.
But do you think that in today's day and age, before there always used to be a thing that you have to get full Ferrari service history, right? And then that would add more value to your car.
Yeah.
Do you think that's still a big thing now?
I don't think it's as big as it was, because nowadays customers are more concerned on how much they spend on their services, service and obviously repair work. So
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, the difference in the price of a service might not be so much. That's so right. It might be that by going to an independent, you might only save like £200.
Yeah.
But it's when those advisories kick in.
That's it, exactly. So that's what I was trying to say. So when they go for a service, at the same time, there will be something minor on the car, but they'll put it on the record. Right? So something is going wrong. And then if you don't get it done from them, then they won't take it off their record, sort of thing.
Yeah. On the record, it shows that you had an
this
issue with your suspension.
Yeah, exactly.
And you didn't get changed.
Yeah.
Even they recommended to get it changed, right?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, if they come here, obviously we will still use the genuine parts. But then most of the times, where you don't even need to use any parts. You can take the motors apart and replace them with the exact same part numbers.
But I guess you do that, but do you reckon every other specialist dealer does that as well? Like takes them off and then tries to repair them and stuff like that?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because your typical car nut, right, that has his garage at home.
Yeah.
And I think we've got some customers that are like this, right?
Yeah.
That they've got their car at home and they'll be working on it constantly.
Yeah, literally.
And they'll even when they have a problem with their car, before they take it to a main dealer or even they bring it to us, they'll try and fix stuff themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way maybe supercar ownership should be, right? Because then actually it doesn't mean only the really, really wealthy people that have money to blow can afford it. Then it means that actually it doesn't cost so much to keep and hold a supercar.
That's right. I mean, if you really think about it, right, I've grown up with older mechanics, like on classic cars. So what they will always do is they won't replace parts. They will always repair parts on their classic cars.
They'll try their hardest to repair.
Repair. Always find a solution to repair the part. That's what it was back in them days. And I'm still using their mentality, right, on supercars and all the high-end cars.
Do you think that the new age of mechanics is not able to do that now?
Yes, because most of them are programmed to replace.
Yeah.
Diagnose, find the problem, replace the part.
When we're looking for new technicians and mechanics, right?
I mean, all the techs are going on the trains now anyway.
Yeah, you're telling me about this.
They're all going to the trains, all the master techs, most of them.
Master techs are now just switching to fixing trains and stuff like that.
That's right.
But yeah, there's only so many techs that are needed for trains.
Yeah.
So my question is, where have all the techs gone?
Most of them are into trains.
Is it the case that the new generation, there's not a lot of people that want to do this work?
Yeah, that's another thing, right? They don't want to put their hands on expensive stuff and take responsibility and stuff like that.
When I was growing up, I knew so many people that wanted to be motor car technicians, right?
Mechanics, yeah.
Do you reckon that number's decreased over time, that people don't want to become?
Full on, yeah. All the child, youngsters I speak to nowadays involved in this knife crime thing, teaching kids and youngsters not to get involved in this stupidness and trying to teach them how to, fix cars, how to repair their own dads for cars or stuff like that. And when I'm trying to teach them, right, they don't really want to get involved.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. They want to do crypto. They want to do jump into crypto, or they want to become a IT manager or something like that. Quick money. And I can remember back in them days, I'm 1993, and back in them days, my age boys, everyone was on it. When you're a mechanic, you're the man, like it's a man's job. And nowadays, you don't see that often. Of course, it's a dying breed, which means, when the electric cars comes out, we're going to be screwed.
I don't think so. What are they calling it? Net zero by 2050, where most of the cars on the roads are going to be electric, right? But still, all the cars that are sold up till that point are going to need fixing.
Fixing, of course.
Right? They're going to need fixing, they need maintaining.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be a need for technicians, but I just don't know where, how do you encourage more and more people to come on board? I don't know. You're involved in getting people off the streets.
Off the streets, yeah. Advising them, giving them good knowledge, and obviously trying to help them out, trying to chase their dreams.
Have you got any good success stories?
Yeah, I know a few family friends where they've given their sons and my responsibility, and I'm looking after them, making sure they're not in the streets and stuff like that. They're now obviously either personal trainers at the gym or working, 9 to 5 and, trying to stay occupied. And I know I'm training about 2-3 guys becoming a technician. Yeah, just they're apprentices right now. And I'm trying to take on more people here as well, so I can train them myself, so they work the way we work, sort of thing. I mean, I can't even employ master techs here no more.
But I don't see dying breed being a bad thing. And I'll tell you the reason why.
Yeah.
Because if there's less and less people wanting to do this, that means that the supply is less and less. And so when supply is low and demand will always be the same, right? Because there'll always be these cars out here that need to get fixed. Ultimately, it's not the worst thing, because then the prices that are charged have to go up. And then that means that these technicians can get paid more. Yeah. And then suddenly becomes attractive again, then more and more people want to come back on board.
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
Those who say that supercars are unreliable and constantly break down, are they right or they're wrong?
Right and wrong. It depends on what supercar. I mean, a lot of cars mainly newer cars that come with a start-stop. A stupid start-stop, right? It doesn't make sense. You drive the car, you're thrashing the car, especially supercars. Yeah. You're thrashing the car, right? You come to a signal light, the car just turns off, everything just shuts down. Yeah. And the turbo is still spinning, and nothing is lubricating it. And not only that, the exhaust on and off causes condensation and rust. Yeah, and the starter motor is constantly getting used, so it's wearing the starter motor out. It's killing the battery slowly. It's heating up the wiring loom. It doesn't make sense. It will cause engine wear.
Do you think that's the biggest problem with the newer cars?
Of course, and I'm seeing a lot of electrical issues with start-stop. I mean, batteries are dying.
So if a customer has the option of opting out of start-stop, actually there's a button. There's buttons on there.
You press it, you turn it off.
So that's a good tip then.
Yeah. Right? Turn it off. Keep that off at all times, at all costs.
If you've got a supercar, make sure you switch off your start-stop. I think that's a great tip there. Yeah. So I've got another question. What supercar is the cheapest to maintain?
Well, a quick guess is Audi, but Audi, Lamborghini. So Lamborghini is Lamborghini Urus, Hurricanes and stuff like that. But they go wrong. You can use Audi parts. So Lamborghini will charge double, sometimes triple the price, right? And when you get the same part from Audi, it's like half the price, quarter of the price. So you can use the same part Audi to repair Lamborghini.
Okay, so on this one, cars that were once expensive that are now cheap, are they worth buying? So, Bentley Continental, those things were around 100 grand, right, when they were brand new.
That's right.
10-year-old ones or whatever. And now you can pick them up for 10, 15 grand. Yeah. They look pretty good for that kind of money, right? Get the paintwork all sorted out, get the interior nicely done, whatever. That thing looks seriously nice. But from a servicing standpoint, what do you think?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes wrong on them because everything is compact. You open the engine bay, back in them days when you work in a backstreet garage, when they say, if it's a Bentley Continental, don't touch it, because you can't even get your hands on the engine. Really? Everything is compact. You can't touch anything. You have to remove the whole thing. Sometimes remove the engine and gearbox out of the car and then work on it. So that's why, that name came from that's why I messed up.
That's why?
That's why they had that name where, people were afraid to touch those cars. And value dropping on those cars, I don't know why.
They made so many of them.
Yeah.
And when you have so many and they've gone so old, then obviously the price is going to come down anyway, right? Yeah. But I guess the question that somebody has to ask themselves is, given that the price of the car is so low, but is it going to cost me so much to maintain? Or if that car goes wrong, it only cost me 15 grand to buy a very used one of 15 years old car or something. Yeah. But actually, something goes wrong with that damn thing, and it's going to cost me £5,000-10,000 just to fix it. So, what in your mind, if you were that person, would you take the risk and just buy it? And do you know what? there's always workarounds, we can always fix stuff? Or would you say, nah, do you know what? There's some cars that just don't bother doing that with.
Right. So in that case, right, if you're a guy that takes cars to main dealers only, obviously don't buy it because they're gonna get charged an arm and a leg for anything that goes wrong. If they know specialists like us, then obviously it's worth buying, because what do? We find solutions, and we find parts.
But sometimes even we can't find solutions on certain cars, right? And is a Bentley like that?
Yes, but we don't let it go though. We hold on to it and figure it out, and eventually we will find the solution. And it's weird, right? What you just said as well with main dealer. I've seen reports for, I don't want to mention names, for main dealers, cars have gone in and come back out with the problem not fixed, and it says on the report cannot identify the issue, cannot get fixed by MasterTech. And I'm like, hold on a minute, you guys have designed these cars and you've got your own dealership, you can't even fix your own cars.
And what, you think that happens on Bentley sometimes?
I haven't seen them on Bentleys, to be honest, right? But other dealership, I've seen cars come in, and then we've always found the solution of them. I mean, that's another drive as well.
But again, that goes back to the point that I was making about technicians that are junior, and because you don't have the old school technicians coming into these roles anymore, right?
That could be a reason why.
Old school mentality where they think outside the box. The new, I mean, I might be totally wrong, right? And it'll be good to hear from viewers, and if we do have any technicians that are watching this, put it in the comments. But I feel like the new age of technicians is just, okay, we have a problem, let's call a Bentley up and let's ask them, or let's call Ferrari up and let's ask them. And if they, after a list of diagnostic questions, if they still don't get the answer, then they have to give up.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to think outside the box.
Yeah, maybe they're not even allowed to do that. They have to go through the books and, not even allowed to think outside the box. Maybe that's why, they have to give up on certain jobs. I mean, I lose sleep over cars that, if I don't find a solution on a car, I can't sleep. I don't sleep. In the middle of the night, I'm sitting in my bed thinking, what could it be? What happened? How did this get caused? And I'm waking up, obviously, getting maybe 1 hour, 2 hours sleep, getting to work. And sometimes I'll go home and I'll sleep because I'm constantly thinking about it. That 1 hour sleep, I'll dream about the solution. I'll dream about the solution and I'll come up with the solution in my dream, and I'll come to work and I'll figure it out.
That's brilliant.
That's mental. I sometimes think, what the hell was that about?
You've got the engine whisperer. Yeah.
It's not that, it's the drive. So whatever drive you have as well. Our business, I need to grow. No pun intended. Eh?
No pun intended. I like it. Right, guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share. And until next time, see you later. Yeah. The next.
Just to see you later, was a bit.
See you later.
All right.
Sorry.
So there you have it, guys. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe and share. And until next time, see you later.
Yeah, that's much better. That's
Was that fine?